So today's video is about two things. First thing, I think I have stumbled upon the best combination of pickups to have a rocking Telecaster. And the second thing is how I managed to use a router for the first time in my whole life and not remove any of my fingers. Hi there folks, welcome to Dunsi's Guitar World. Yes, thing number two, I managed to use a router. First time I've ever used a router in my whole life to make a bigger hole for a pickup in a Telecaster, and I'll tell you all about it. But I've got to say, the first time of using a router, I was a bit nervous because it's a tool that seems to spin something that's really sharp at like 1,000 miles an hour. You know, quite dangerous. My wife was saying, watch what you're doing with that. Watch what you're doing with that. So what did I do? Well, remember this old super cheap parts caster that I put together with like a 49-pound body and a pickup out the parts drawer that was in a 1980s Japanese BC Rich? Well, what I decided to do was, in the same parts drawer that I found this P90 pickup. And I thought, I've not really seen any production Telecasters, Fender, I think you get some maybe custom ones, but they have like a humbucker, a full humbucker in the bridge and a P90 in the neck, and I thought, I'll use this P90. The problem I had was the route here was only big enough for the normal single coil neck pickup in a Telecaster. So I got a router before Christmas, not a router, a router before Christmas, and I've been too nervous to use it, so I decided just to go ahead. Now I will say, I had a comment on a video a while back when I was doing some work on the guitar and somebody says, just take it to a tech, mate, you know, kind of implying that you don't know what you're doing. Get someone who does know what they're doing to do it, and absolutely, you know, I agree. However, if you never try anything, how are you ever going to know if you can do it? So I decided to give this a try, and I did not have a template or anything, I just did it completely by hand and by eye. It wasn't the most accurate, but let's look at what I ended up with to get this. So you can't really see anything underneath here, so it kind of looks okay from the front. It has a few, as I say, scratches here where, you know, I did almost lose a finger, but the main thing is it works. But how does it sound? Well, here's a strange thing. It seems that when I have wired this in, these are out of phase. Now somebody's probably typing in the comments, just take it to a tech, mate. However, I might have discovered something that's really great for rock and metal. And I guess it's the same thing as a J Mascis Telecaster. The middle position is out of phase. But on this one, because these are both powerful pickups, the middle position is like really cutting through. It's like almost like Michael Schenker and his cocked wah, if you excuse my terminology, his cocked wah. So let's hear some sounds. Now I will say, this does not sound very good on clean sounds. The pickups are just way too powerful for that. So I won't be doing any country on this. I'll be demonstrating some rock. But let's hear how, when I go from the bridge position that is like full on metal to when I go to the middle position, it's kind of cutting through a bit more, great for solos. And then when I go to the P90 on the neck, it's just that great neck P90 sound, like, I don't know, like Leslie West, although he wasn't obviously using a neck P90 in his junior, but it's got that kind of, I don't know, chunky but clear P90 sound. You'll see what I mean when I start this test. So I'm playing through a Marshall Super Lead that's dimed. Now I'm in drop D tuning as well, so let's play one of my favourite riffs. I'll start with the neck pickup, and then when I'm playing the verse part, I will change to the bridge pickup, and then when I go into the solo, I'll change it to the middle position, and you can hear how it cuts through, okay? So I think it does help. I think it cuts through a bit, and I think it's when the P90 in the neck is just on its own, that's a great, I don't know, almost kind of bluesy sound that's going on there. The bridge humbucker is obviously rocking, and then when it's in the middle, it's rocking, but it's kind of cutting through the mix a little because of those extra out of phase frequencies. So this is I'll try it on a less overdriven amp. This is like a plexi with a clone. So I think it'd be quite good, like if you're doing, just chords. I won't focus on my guitar here, but I'm playing like an E. I'll play it here. So if you're just playing rhythm, you just play that, and you want to go a solo, just switch to the middle position in your. It really enhances the treble frequencies to my ears, and I have old cloth ears, so that's what today's video was about. It was about managing to survive a bit of guitar work and with all 10 fingers intact, and how I think having a P90 in the neck position of a Telecaster with a humbucker and a short bridge, I don't know, it's just rocking. I'm just really liking it. Now I could have taken a lot more time, done this a lot neater. I could have maybe balanced the pickups a bit more. I could have maybe changed the wiring so it's not out of phase, but that's not how I roll. I would rather just do something, judge it by eye, judge it by ear, and then see where we are. I'm not the sort of person who would look at this and say, well, the string isn't exactly over the pole piece on the top E string, so it's not going to sound good. When you're playing through a dimed Marshall Super Lead, that's not going to make a lot of difference. So if you read things on the internet, then it's not necessarily true. Let your ears be the judge of stuff, and your eyes. So there you go, folks. So I'm going to finish this video. Bad news for everybody who's still here at about 7 or 8 minutes is there is an extended jam. I know there's an extended jam at the end, maybe in E major, I think. I can't remember what it did. Lasts about 6 minutes, but my only excuse is I'm trying to show you a lot of different sounds with this guitar using one amp and 3 pickup positions. But as ever, folks, that's why we're all here. It's a privilege and a pleasure bringing you content on Dunsey's Guitar World. Cheers for now.